Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and this is Florida Man's Bronco. This is the 2022 Ford Bronco Everglades edition. This was a limited one model year only vehicle, and in this video I'm going to take you on a quick tour of what makes this one so special, why I've requested it even here in 2023, and then we will go and explore what this thing is capable of off-road. Hint, it's not just for the swamps. Stay tuned. All right, gearheads, we'll start up front, and because it requires a prop rod, we're actually going to start under the hood here. I'm going to lift the hood up, prop it into place, and bring you a little bit closer. What makes this one unique is there aren't really many options for it. It was, like I said, a one model year only vehicle, and you only got one powertrain. So in this one, it is the smaller Ecoboost, the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that makes 275 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque on regular fuel. But if you put premium, you get 300 horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque. Now, I know Ford wouldn't say this outright, but I can almost guarantee you the reason that you can't get the bigger engine in this one is because of this winch up front and all the lack of cooling that would go into that bigger Ecoboost V6 and the optional engine on most trims. But you can see here, this one has a few miles on it. I believe it's got 14,000 on the odometer. Press vehicles live a very tough life because we always like to put them to the test and see if the manufacturer really is good on all that they've promised with the vehicle. I can say that this particular one has had to have a new starter. So those who want to know about longevity of vehicles, typically press vehicles don't get this long of a lifespan, but I can note that this one did get a new starter because it just would not turn over. So something to consider if you're looking at a Bronco with the 4-cylinder engine in it. But I'm going to go ahead and close the hood here. Very interesting prop rod. And when we take a look at the full vehicle, there's a lot that really makes it stand out, most notably the worn winch. So this is the Everglades version, therefore this thing is meant to go through swamps. And I know from living here in East Texas, when it gets really rainy, the mud out here can just turn into glue. And sometimes you need a little help. So if you get stuck in the glue, in the muck, you get a heavy-duty worn winch right here, factory installed. And then we've got all the steel bumpers all the way around it for added strength and stability. You can take these side corner pieces off for a little bit better approach angle. And then we do get the upgraded LED signature lighting here on the Bronco Everglades. So you can see we get LED turn signal. You get the LED halo look when you're driving. So the running light is this with the halo on it. Looks really cool. We get the blacked out grille that spells Bronco across the front. I know Ford is doing several different grills now when it comes to what is spelled across here. So the Raptor gets Ford spelled out in typical Ford Raptor font, but the Heritage Edition that's new for 2023 gets Ford spelled out in red across the front. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And then up here on the front corners, we've got these trail sights that you can also tie your cables to up to the roof rack that is on our model here to keep things from bashing in and bashing out, breaking out your glass. So that's very nice up here as well. And then moving down below, we get steel bash plates. So this thing really can take rocks and abuse in addition to the muddy swamps of the Florida Everglades. But that is not all that this one gets, because we get a dual-sided snorkel here from the factory on this Everglades model. So we do have a front intake on this. There is also a rear intake on this. So in instances where you may be out in the dry desert, completely in the opposite realm of environment from the Florida Everglades, you may want to seal this off and let it breathe out the back to get some more fresh air out of the back. Another thing about this one, you may notice from this angle, and we'll talk about it as we move more around the side, is all Everglades models also have the Sasquatch package. So we get that wider stance, the bigger wheels and tires, the bigger tires really, because we're running on 17s still. So this thing really is set to do some serious off-roading. All right, I took you off the tripod so I can show you more around the vehicle as we get to the sides here. You can see from the sides, it is very clear that this is an Everglades. So we get this really cool Everglades specific badging here on the side. And like I mentioned, they are all Sasquatch models. So there are a lot of fun Easter eggs in here for different trails that you can take. Some Sasquatch sightings that were spotted here on this topographical map. It's a lot of fun. And then moving down to wheels and tires. These are perhaps some of my favorite off-road wheels. The Heritage Edition that is new for 2023 gets a similar looking wheel painted in white. I really like what Ford is doing with their wheel designs, and being that these are 17-inch wheels, we get some massive sidewall on these 315/70 R17 Goodyear Territory MT tires. These are absolutely aggressive. I love that Ford is giving you a 17-inch instead of an 18, 19, 20. I'm sorry, if you go above 18, 18's even pushing it for me on an off-road wheel. That's just not enough sidewall for some good good clearance off-road, good comfortability even on-road, because that sidewall gives you a little extra cushion. And to prove that this isn't just for going through the mud bogs, we do get some rock sliders here on the Everglades as well. You can see we do have the doors taken off. These came off as soon as I got home to this thing. It arrived while I was out of town, and yes, the absolute first thing I had to do was take the doors off. We will hopefully get some time lapse of how quickly these can go on or come off, but you can see it is 2 bolts. Ford supplies a toolkit that makes that very easy to lift off, and the electrical plug is right there. So all you had to do, unplug the electrical, take off the 2 bolts, and ours came with the door storage bags. So I actually slide those door storage bags on first, unbolt, unhook, and then you can just lift it from the handles on the bag and carry it away, zip it up. And typically you would be able to store them in the back, but we will get more into that here in just a little bit. Because we do have the roof rack on this one, unfortunately this center panel does not come off. There's just not enough clearance for the angle here on the side to get over the roof rails here and clear the roof rack on that one. So this roof rack can come off with tools, but that's not something I really want to do, especially with a press vehicle. You can see it does say accessory ready here on the windshield. And while I'm talking about it, we also have Bronco established in 1966 down at the bottom of the windshield. Me personally, I would not option the roof rack. I don't know that I'd be loading that much stuff on it because there is quite a bit of storage space back in the back. We'll talk more interior here in just a moment, but I want to bring you around to the back where we've got this massive tire on the back, and the one Ford logo on this vehicle is just under the door handle on the driver's side. We get the Bronco on the right side, LED lights back here as well. And then we do have a swing gate that is assisted with a gas strut. In some instances, it is very hard to quickly open the tailgate because of that gas strut, excuse me, but for the most part, you can get in here rather quickly. The rear glass is just gravity held in place when the gate is shut. You can see here, this is the storage bag for the 2 top panels over the front seats. It is very nice and convenient, and they stack in here. You can see the bag even curves to the contour of those roof panels. Very nice. Now, I did mention typically you can put all 4 doors back here in the back. You can see we've got attachment points for them. It came with a full net and all of these attachments to strap them down, strap into place. They do clip together so that they aren't rattling back and forth. There is typically enough room in here for them, but because this model has the optional slide out tailgate, which is steel, it adds just a few inches of additional height to the load floor back here, and I could not, for the life of me, get all 4 doors in. I could get 3 in, but it was kind of precarious. It didn't quite work. They were just sitting up a little too high, hitting all the roof rails in the back of this one. So unfortunately, if you are planning on taking the doors with you on an off-road adventure, I would not opt for the sliding tailgate. You can see this does say accessory ready. If you absolutely need a table back here, you can get a fold-down table from the tailgate here. It just is not as heavy duty as that steel sliding tailgate out of the back there. And I'll go ahead and point out to you all the hookups here for your rear wiper and your washer fluid are right there. You can see even more accessory ready spots all the way around this vehicle, and then your back speakers. But let's go ahead and close this up. Oh, also want to show you the controller for the Warn winch is back here. But yeah, let's close this up and move around to the inside. As I'm closing the door here, I will say that this has made a very fun vehicle for tailgating in my own driveway. We got a new grill. I used the tailgate of the Bronco to assemble the grill, and with the doors off and the rear open, this makes a pretty good sound system as well. Another thing that I really like about Bronco over its competition with Jeep Wrangler, which we haven't really talked about too much, is the mounting position of these door mirrors. It is a little awkward when the doors are on and open fully because you're wondering if it's going to hit this mirror, but having them mounted to the cowl like this allows for most top trim models to have 360 cameras, something one thing Wrangler cannot do. And then just having your fixed in place mirror still in place with the doors off is another big bonus of this Bronco platform. Moving inside, if you need it, you've got a grab handle right here. There's one on the passenger side as well, and one down here to grab onto. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up and show you exactly what we see here. If we did have the doors on this one, you wouldn't get all these messages right here. But when you open the door, there's a nice Bronco animation, rocks rolling into place and forming that Bronco logo. Looking up here, we do have a fully analog speedometer that I absolutely never look at. I use this digital screen right here for practically everything. I've driven several Broncos and I still just have not had enough time in them to get used to this kind of vertical bar display that they have for the tach and the speedometer. I do like there is traffic sign recognition built into this, and you can page through a few different things here on the gauge cluster. It's okay. It's not super glanceable, so it's not my favorite, but you can see we've driven this actually over 114 miles. That's just how far we've gone since I got home to this and reset, but we're averaging just over 17.4 mpg. Coming down here, we have our light controls, our brightness, we've got our park brake and our hood release down here. And then we've got the carpeted floor mats that do latch into place, but we do have the rubber floors with drain plugs. I'll be able to show you that a little bit more easily in the back. We do get the larger 12-inch Ford Sync system. Unfortunately, though, we only get the backup camera in the Everglades, no 360 cameras on this one. I really would like the 360 cameras. That Chevy ZR2 that we tested had so many different camera angles that helped with off-road ability. I still had spotters because I still highly recommend having spotters. The materials in here are cheap-ish, but they should be very easy to clean and wipe down if you are off-roading with the doors off, like I will be today. I'm fully expecting to get very dusty today because we are not in the Everglades. There is a GoPro mounting point right here that is threaded, and I don't see any power up here, but I do think some models offer you a power point up there. We are missing the stay bar disconnect up here, but we have a locking front and rear differential right here, trail turn assist, traction control off, and your hazard button right there. They call those the hero buttons. Up here we have a bunch of auxiliary switches. If we didn't already have the winch, you could put a winch, you could put lights, you could put a lot of different things up there on that one. Nice visors, again, kind of cheap on the materials, but easy to clean. If we had the top on, we'd have a latch here and a few latches. There are 4 latches in total to get each top panel off. Makes for a very quick and easy. And because they are small, you can get them out and over and around the roof rails and that rooftop tent or roof mounted bar. You get your radio controls. You actually get a volume and tuning knob. Interesting placement for the engine start-stop feature right here. I had to hunt for it a little bit. I knew it existed, but I had to hunt for it. Then you get your climate controls. We do have dual zone climate controls here and heated front seats, so that's a nice touch. Engine start-stop button is over there for turning the vehicle on. No Qi wireless charging pad, but we do get USB-A, USB-C. I'll go ahead and show you the key. I don't need it as much getting in and out, but that rear door will automatically lock on you at speed. And so, yeah, but you can keep this on you with the doors off. If you walk any distance away from the vehicle, if you take this key out of the cabin of the vehicle, it will honk at you to let you know that you don't have it in place anymore. We do have an a manually selectable gear ratio here. I'm not using the right words. The transmission selector is mechanical. There we go. Those are the words. 2 cup holders forward and back. All your window controls, you can see all 4 are automatic. I like that a lot. Another big plus of the doors here on the Bronco is that they are frameless. So when you roll that window down, they are really small and compact. Your mirror controls are right here. All of the buttons on the steering wheel and these controls right here are rubber membrane. So again, you can get the interior of this vehicle rather dirty, just like all of these hero buttons up here, and wipe them down. We do get a rather nice glove box over here, but very nice vinyl seats. I like the two-tone with the Bronco logo in here. They haven't gotten too hot though. Yesterday was Memorial Day. We drove it around. This one sat in the sun more so than mine. Holly needed a little towel to keep the seat bottom from burning her, but typically these don't get too hot. We do get the Ford badge right here that mimics the headlights and the Ford grille, built and assembled in the Michigan plant. I have seen that Michigan plant. Lockable center console here, and the glove box is also lockable, so you do have some secure storage when the doors are off. We do have the G.O.A.T modes right here, goes over any terrain. It's like off-road presets that you don't even really need to do anything with 4 high, 4 low, because as you turn this, let's get that off the screen, you have normal, eco, sport, slippery, mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, and that is it. And depending on what mode you have it in, you can see right here, it's telling me to shift into neutral for 4 low. And so it really handles everything from the hero buttons to your drive select right here. It really is just a simple preset that you spin the dial, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 G.O.A.T modes in this. I believe there are 8 or 9 in total, depending on what trim you have. But we are in park. Make sure this is settled. I'm gonna go ahead and hop out, which you can kind of let gravity do the work for you, and then come to the back seat here. We do have Tucker's child seat installed in the center. You can see the lower tether points are here. We had to borrow to have it in the middle from an outboard spot. These seats do recline. Go ahead and show you here. They do fold rather flat, but that means the seat bottom moves forward as well. We got a lot of MOLLE strap points back here and a little net, which is nice. We have the rear floor mats removed so that we can show you the drain plug that will allow you to drain this out if you are in the mud with the doors off. Just another convenience. These are rubber floors, make for easy cleanup. And then the back of the center console, you can see we've got our window buttons back here. We've got USB-A and USB-C under that one, and then a household style 3-prong 400 watt max 110 volt household style plug right there. But that's all there is back there, and I've already shown you back in the cargo compartment, but that is enough of a quick tour of this one. I am out at my friend's property from One Off Productions, where he has built us a nice little off-road testing grounds. And let's see what Florida man's Bronco can do here in the woods of East Texas. All right, I will say, I can get quite used to not only driving around in town with the doors off, but wheeling with the doors off. Your sight lines are so much better. Really prefer it. But we've got a little obstacle course set up here by my friend Eric with One Off Productions on his property. Very interested to see exactly what this thing is capable of when we get it in some precarious situations. I do have these GoPros mounted on the windshield. I did not use that threaded spot in the dash just because I don't have that adapter. And I've got one on the back tire back in the back. These front two cameras do have horizon lock, which hopefully can show you some of the pitch and roll that this thing is going through. If I notice anything substantial, I've got a pitch and roll display here on the 12-inch sync system, so that I can go into further detail as to exactly what this thing is doing, both front and rear. I will say, I do wish we had 360 cameras on this one. A trail cam up front would be rather nice. First thing I'm going to do is, because of these very aggressive 33-inch tall Goodyear tires, I'm going to see what this is capable of in two-wheel drive. Fully open diffs, nothing crazy, normal drive mode. We'll see exactly what the Everglades can do going through mud here in East Texas backwoods. So take a little dip down into the mud. Oh, no, those open diffs do not like it. So we'll back up and we'll go ahead.
Cowbell, we'll go in.
We'll give it a little more speed. There we go, there we go. Oh, and it is bogging down. Goat mode's coming in handy. We will switch it to, it's not slippery, we'll do mud ruts, because after all, that is what we're in. It automatically shifts into 4 high, locks that rear diff. Let's see what it can do now. Woo! Throwing some mud. There we go. And now it walks right out. So yeah, those open diffs don't like being twisted up, but otherwise fairly simple here. And then the GOAT modes make it very simple for knowing exactly what situation I'm in, going through, driving through, and we can go from there. Next up, we're going to do a little articulation, just to twist in the front and rear axles just a little bit. Wrangler still offers a fully solid front axle, whereas Bronco is a little more on-road comfortable with its independent front suspension, and this one does not have the stabilizer bar disconnect. So we lose a little on the articulation up front, especially here on this Everglades model, but the articulation we have in front of us shouldn't give too much of an issue. I'm still in mud ruts, I'm sure this could probably do it in two-wheel drive unless we get one up in the air. I would need to lock that rear diff. This is rather soft soil out here because this obstacle was just set up. So we'll see exactly what this is like when we get out here and test the articulation front and rear. Again, I'm in 4-high, rear diff locked. We'll see what this is like walking over these very soft articulation ruts. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Could have made that one deeper. I thought it was too deep.
I'm gonna go around, take it from the other way. Come around and we'll take it from the other direction just because it's always fun twisting these vehicles up. You can see just how soft it was from us going over it that first time, but yeah, walks right over it with no issue whatsoever. I think articulation is probably one of my favorite off-road tests, just because to feel the suspension do its thing underneath you, it's a pretty interesting sensation, knowing what you're going over and still staying fairly upright. All right, not that you're going to be jumping in the Everglades, but you know, Ford has the Raptor. Why not try it here in the Everglades? We do have those Bilstein reservoir shocks underneath us. We've got a little table here in front of us. Let's see what this thing can do. Woo! Did it get any air?
Yeah, the front did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got a nice little chunk of dirt thrown at my face on that one. Woo! We're gonna do a little trail turn assist demonstration here. We're gonna do one turn without it. We're gonna come right back and do it with, because it's a 40% claimed turning radius reduction. So trail turn off, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in two-wheel drive. So that requires putting it back into normal GO.A.T mode. So two-wheel drive, shifting out of 4x4. All right, here we go. No trail turn, can I make it between these trees? No, cannot. So we're gonna back up to exactly where we were. Steering still turned full hard lock. Then we're gonna see with trail turn on, tell me to shift into 4 high. So there we go. We're in 4 high, trail turn assist on. Here we go. Turning hard on the wheel, locking up that back tire. So easy, and I can literally do donuts around this tree. But I'm also tearing up the trail in the process. So yeah, it works. It works very well. I call it the giggle button because it just puts a smile on my face every time I use it. It's ridiculous, but fun. All right, so we're gonna go into mud ruts again for our GO.A.T mode. Lock up that rear diff because the last major obstacle out here is a little bit of a hill climb, and that's where these GoPros can really show off their horizon lock, I do believe, and we'll see what these are capable of as we climb up and over this obstacle. Now I will say that worn winch out front may ruin my approach angle because it does hang very far off the nose. It does allow me some pretty easy access into the garage because of the way my garage is, but don't want to stick it right in the dirt. Nothing, like nothing. This thing really does like to climb. These Goodyear Wrangler tires, excuse me, they aren't Wrangler tires. Ford and Goodyear went on and on about that, I'm sure, but these Goodyear MT off-road tires like to bite, they like to grip. Again, my only real concern as we come around to do it again would be that worn winch sticking way off the front, keeping me from climbing something too steep. But Eric's getting me some exterior angles just to show you what that might, because I have no idea what it looks like. I don't have a front-facing camera. All I know is it just likes to walk right up, especially with that rear diff locked. All around, very impressive. Sorry I don't have any swamps to take this thing through. It does have impressive water fording, hence the snorkel on this thing. So far, I've been quite impressed with this. The Bronco is a very capable platform, very capable chassis. That independent front suspension really, for what most people, and I'm talking like 99% of people who buy a Bronco will need, is more than capable. Unless you're taking this up like Hell's Gate or something in Moab. I really do. This is an all-around very good platform. I really like the old school nature of the Jeep with its solid front axle. But, I mean, yes, I'm going through the articulation again. This thing is really good, really fun in all situations. I like trail turn assist. I like the articulation. So sue me. And yeah, this thing is really fun. But that about concludes my time with this vehicle off-road. Unfortunately, don't have too much time with it. It showed up at a weird time for us, but we do have some more fun off-road stuff coming from Ford very soon, as well as some other manufacturers. So if you want to see all that stuff from us as well, be sure and subscribe, ring the bell, follow, hit all the buttons to let the algorithms know to show you more content from us, because we do have some more fun stuff coming. Find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Everything is at GT Garage Talk. Or you can go read more about this, see our pictures over at gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, here in the woods of East Texas, in Florida Man's Bronco, until next time, gearheads, bye. This will all dry out pretty good. One of the great things about the vinyl seats is if you are willing, with the doors off, they do wipe down very easily. I'm gonna go around, take it from the other way. And I won't run over your camera. These tires do like to grab onto the dirt and hold on. One more? One more again, let's do it. Man, I love articulation.